House to now adjourn, and I call Shaun Davies on 5G connectivity in Telford and the West Midlands. Shaun Davies.
Honourable friend the Minister in his place. He's a man of great knowledge and passion of this agenda, and I know that he'll take it forward both in Telford, the West Midlands and further afield. And I'd also like to place on record my gratitude for the department and how helpful and proactive they have been with me since I've been raising this issue, both in terms of in this House but also outside of it. And can I say also how grateful I am for the opportunity to raise in Parliament something that I've been talking about for some time, but that my constituents have been bearing up with for even longer. The 5G connectivity in Telford and across our region, or to speak to the fact, the lack of. Often this debate focuses on connectivity in rural areas, and rightly so. But I want to start out by reminding anyone who's unaware that despite our beautiful nature and green spaces, Telford is no village. It's a town with more than 185,000 people. Our borough is predicted to reach 200,000 people by 2032, and that's a 12.5% growth from 2018. We are just half an hour drive from Wolverhampton, 40 minutes from our second city, Birmingham. But despite that, despite our size and our population and our proximity to major cities, we have very patchy 5G connections. In fact, constituents tell me that getting a 4G reception is often a challenge. Telford is a cultural and economic hub, bustling with industry, and I can't tell people to come and employ people in a great town or visit our wonderful World Heritage Site when our connectivity in the whole areas across our town are, frankly, in the dark ages. This problem feels all the more sharp because we are in the heart of our region, the West Midlands, which has the best 5G connectivity in the country, according to the Combined Authority, who's doing excellent work led by our Mayor, Richard Parker. He's harnessing technology to reduce congestion and pollution, improve the local economy and improve the services it offers. Telford is run by a forward-thinking council that would be very keen to innovate in similar ways if we were only given the opportunity. Madam Deputy Speaker, constituents have been raising this with me in conversations for a very long time, but I wanted to put numbers on it. So I ran a survey of my constituents, and the result I got was stark. Almost 100% of those people responding to my survey told me that they had no 5G connection whatsoever, and many experienced that in their homes, in their workplaces and even in our town centre. One constituent, Bill, told me his connection at both home and at work has gotten worse over the last 5 years. Another, Joanne, said her signal with O2 has deteriorated even in the last few months, and she's connected to O2, who deny this. Two other constituents, Waz and Phil, both said that they have changed providers multiple times but found them to be, and I quote, all the same. One former constituent, Peter, who now lives in Europe, told me that the contrast between us and our international partners is shocking. I could go on with the results of my survey, Madam Deputy Speaker, but if the Minister would like to hear directly from my constituents, he's very welcome to visit them, or I can share the survey with him. I will.
To the honourable gentleman for giving way. He's making a really excellent speech and a really, really good point. And it applies equally, I think, to urban and rural areas, that mobile network operators don't have minimum standards of coverage and quality of signal. So some places where there was good coverage before, now it doesn't appear to be the case because the signal quality is so poor. Would you agree with me that we need to look at a way of ensuring that mobile network operators provide a good quality signal to everyone?
I agree with my honourable friend, my neighbour in Shropshire on that point. And I think this is a rural-urban issue because mobile signal is very much like utilities. People just expect them to work for both their personal life and their work-related life. Telford and Wrekin Council has kindly shared with me a report containing research from the River Severn Partnership between 2024 and 2025, which I found, and I quote, a significant difference between what Ofcom estimates to be 5G coverage and the real-world experience. The survey found that 28% of Telford postcodes had good signal, but Ofcom claims there's not a single postcode in Telford where the signal is poor. Again, a direct contrast to the lived experiences of our residents. This goes to the heart of the problem, and it's exactly what our residents are saying. What Ofcom says, and frankly what the government says, just does not live up to the real-life experiences of our residents. In fact, in a written question last January, the then Minister for Digital told me that 99% of all premises in my constituency have 5G available. And I'm not in any way attributing the blame to the Minister at the time, because I know that the government is getting its data from Ofcom, but Ofcom in turn is getting its data from the network providers, who told me in a meeting this week that their data is provided by computer generation and analytics. So the real-life experiences of a resident are simply not being taken into consideration. I'd also like to point to the Local Government Association, an organisation that I'm very familiar with, who authored a report with the Digital Communities APPG. The report was very validating for my constituents. They said that residents who make this complaint are not imagining things. They take the same issue with Ofcom's data. The report confirms that while Ofcom's regulatory oversight has supported progress in expanding digital infrastructure, significant concerns remain about the accuracy of coverage of data. The current system relies heavily on operator-supplied modelling, which often falls and fails to reflect on the experiences of our residents up and down our country. I want to make it clear that there are two sides to this problem, but they are connected. We need better reporting of 5G coverage, but obviously what my constituents care about more is actually improving the coverage itself. But the path to better 5G infrastructure in my constituency and other constituencies and across the West Midlands needs the acknowledgement that there is a problem in the first place.
Well, my honourable friend, please give
I'm very happy.
I thank my honourable friend for giving way. He has made some excellent points, and he has mentioned Wolverhampton. In my constituency of Wolverhampton West, we have Tettenhall, which is a significantly populated suburb of Wolverhampton, where they face similar problems to the one highlighted by my honourable friend. So constituents say that they have little or no signal, they struggle to make contact with family and friends, and the other day a constituent said to me that he had difficulty in making contact with emergency services because of there being no mobile phone connectivity. So does my friend, honourable friend, agree that he's right to say that very often it's rural areas that are considered to be a problem, but there are populated areas such as Tettenhall in my constituency where we have a similar problem, and we therefore need to, in this day and age, ensure that we have connectivity everywhere. Thank you.
I completely agree with my honourable friend, and he makes the excellent point that this is not just about economic growth and access to public services, although that's important. It is also about life-saving public services in an emergency, as he sets out. In the case I've come across too negative, in case I've come across too negative at this point, I would like to acknowledge the progress that is being made or will be made. And I recently had the chance to meet officials and the Minister, Baroness Lloyd, of the other place at the department, who informed me about Ofcom's reporting tool, so that my constituents can tell me where on a map they are not getting 5G signal. But I would like just to gently point out to the Minister that it cannot simply be an expectation of our residents to have to report this problem when network providers are making millions in pounds in profit. I've also written to Ofcom and to providers including O2, EE, 3 and BT. I found them all to be responsive, and I've also met with some of those providers this week and will meet them again. But it's so important that we see action in this regard. But while these all sound great in principle, I hope that providers will forgive me and my constituents for saying that we'll believe it when we see it, because ultimately that is the test. Can people connect to a 4G and 5G signal in 2026?
Will my honourable friend give way?
Have it.
I thank my honourable friend who's making a very compelling speech. I should declare an interest that in a previous role I did advise a mobile phone company on communications, but I just want to ask him if he agrees with me that there have been in the past occasions when mobile phone companies and other digital companies make very, very grand promises about things like video calling, as happened when they rolled out 3G, and then 4G and then 5G. And unfortunately, it doesn't always match with the expectations of the public who watch those adverts and who buy those devices. And while they're going to great lengths to improve services, We must implore them to match the reality of their service provision with the things that they're advertising and promising.
I couldn't agree more with my honourable friend, and I respect his expertise in this field. I also think it's not unrealistic for our residents to be demanding better of our phone providers, particularly in what is a fifth or sixth utility. I want to emphasise that this is not me asking the government and the providers for charity. We're asking for an opportunity to contribute. Telford is a wonderful town, Shropshire is a wonderful county, and the West Midlands is a fantastic region. And those consumers are a market opportunity for this ever-growing network. But if we want to continue to grow, as we've grown for the last 60 years in Telford, we need to be in the 21st century. And when it comes to 5G, we simply are not. Businesses need to know that they can operate here. People need to know that they can work from home, that they can access an online GP appointment, and crucially, for a town impacted by flooding, especially around the famous World Heritage Site at Ironbridge Gorge, that they need to be able to have surety that when they need to contact the emergency services in a crisis, that resilience and connectivity is there. Telford has so much to offer to the government, to the private sector, to anyone who wants to live and visit and invest in our town. In return, we need a modern 5G infrastructure. So, Madam Deputy Speaker, I have both a national ask and a local ask of the Minister. Nationally, I would like to echo the calls of the Digital Communities APPG, chaired by the Honourable Member for North Shropshire, for an independent review of the UK's digital connectivity framework and the integrity of the data in reporting of it. It's frustrating for me and my constituents to be hit with the computer says no answer when sharing our lived experience of something that is a real problem to so many people. The Ofcom reporting tool is welcome, but I would ask that the Minister, if we can go further, so that we're not just starting with an inaccurate map and making individual residents responsible for correcting it. My local ask is this: will the Minister visit Telford with his officials and see for himself what my constituents and I are dealing with? Will he help me convene the relevant providers and lend his voice for my call that there should be better 5G connection or at least 4G connection, so that my constituents can rely upon that service to access public services and to help make our economy grow, both in Telford and for the region. And lastly, I know that digital connectivity is a priority for this government. I welcome the steps that they're taking, including through Project Gigabit, to revolutionise our infrastructure. So will he reassure me, my constituents Bill, Peter, Waz, Phil and Joanne, and the other hundreds of constituents in Telford who have contacted me, and the hundreds of thousands across this country, that they will get connected to a world-class network that provides them with access to digital services. Madam Deputy Speaker, this government's priority is clear: economic growth, reforming public services and change. And I would say to the Minister that this is a grand opportunity for me to demonstrate to my constituents that the economy mission is being met, that access to reform public services can be met, and change in every pocket of every resident in my constituency through their phone will be benefited through this measure. And I thank Madam Deputy Speaker, the House, for allowing me time to explore this issue.
Call the Minister, Kanishka Narayan. Minister.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. And can I first and foremost thank my honourable friend, the member for Telford, for securing this adjournment debate. In his entire tenure, he has been a relentless champion for the people of Telford. On this particular question of 5G and mobile coverage, he has listened closely to those he represents in person on surveys. He has represented that voice in the media. He has represented that to my honourable friend, the Minister for the Digital Economy, in the other place. And I know that in tonight's debate he has done that again with both an impressive speech and a depth of understanding of Telford as well. Mobile coverage is an extremely important topic, and this is reflected in the amount of interest shown across the House in any parliamentary activity on this subject. Access to high-quality, reliable and secure mobile connectivity is critical for people to effectively participate in the modern digital economy. It's essential to day-to-day life in many cases. Whether it is to run a business online, to access essential public services, to manage finances online, to contact GP surgeries or staying in touch with loved ones, all of us need reliable mobile connectivity. Government has an ambition for all populated areas to have access to higher quality standalone 5G by 2030. This, of course, includes Telford and areas right across the West Midlands. It is true that Ofcom currently reports that standalone 5G is available outside of only 1% of premises across my honourable friend's constituency in Telford. This is clearly unacceptable. I'm also conscious that the picture has slightly updated in more recent weeks, months as well, and I would, Madam Deputy Speaker, like to take the opportunity to shine some light on that too. The published coverage stats were last collected in July last year, and there has been some improvement in the picture as a consequence of that. We expect that the figure will increase significantly further still in the next report published by Ofcom as reporting catches up with network rollout. Mobile network operators are investing significantly to improve coverage, and I know that progress continues at pace. I have been assured that this is leading to coverage improvements in many areas, including Telford. The operators' significant investment plans are public. 11 billion has been committed by Vodafone 3 as a result of their merger. BT has an ambition to deliver standalone 5G to 99% of the UK population by the end of financial year 30, and Virgin Media O2, as part of their mobile transformation plan, committed 700 million of further investment into their mobile network nationwide. In preparation for this debate, officials have engaged with the operators to understand specific coverage improvement plans that they have in my honourable friend's constituency and across the West Midlands. BT have confirmed that in line with their announcement of October of last year, 99% of residents across the Telford constituency can now access standalone 5G. I will of course come to points of dissatisfaction between that claim and the wider experience of people in Telford imminently too. Vodafone 3 have confirmed that standalone 5G coverage will increase in the Telford constituency to 100% by their first reporting milestone in 2028, in line with their merger commitments. Virgin Media O2 have made strides to improve mobile coverage across the West Midlands, including boosting 4G and 5G capacity across Coventry, deploying standalone 5G small cells in Birmingham City Centre 2 in 2024. This feedback from operators starts to show the significant progress being made in rolling out standalone 5G across Telford and the West Midlands region as well. I would encourage all members of the House, if they would like to understand plans for their constituency, to contact the operators too. I am deeply sorry to hear of the difficulties that my honourable friend in Telford reports in relation to the reliability of services in the region. I recognise that in our modern economy and way of life, services need to be reliable for everyone in all parts of the country. Communications providers have legal obligations to ensure that their services are appropriately resilient, as overseen by Ofcom. And I can recommend that if customers are having continuing difficulties, as my honourable friend has mentioned, they can of course contact both their provider and, in the instance of serious and repeated failures, also report to Ofcom. At this point, can I also just raise the particular issue that my honourable friend has highlighted about the discrepancy between people's lived experience and the reported data. It's an experience familiar to me, both from my constituency and wider experience, and government recognises there are discrepancies in cases between the lived experience of people and the level of coverage that Ofcom reports as well. Whilst the launch of our tool, the Map Your Mobile tool, in June of last year was a positive step forward, the work of our government does not stop there. We have restated in our proposed statement of strategic priorities for Ofcom the importance of continuing to improve the reporting of mobile coverage as well, for example, by building on the launch of that tool through the exploration of measured and crowdsourced data as well. Alongside that, I would also point out that the Streetwave coverage checker is one tool that is both available on the River 7 Partnership website, but has been funded by government funding by the 5G Innovation Regions project as well. And I'm conscious that that in particular includes my honourable friend's constituency in Telford as well. Madam Deputy Speaker, I understand my honourable friend's concerns about flooding too in his local area that I know he has brought up with the department. There are potential safety risks arising when flooding is combined with the lack of a mobile signal, and I thank my honourable friend for raising this important issue. Clearly, it must be right to raise the risk to public safety so that they can be looked into and addressed accordingly. In relation to mobile signal, I hope some of the information provided starts to give him some reassurance on what is available in the local area and plans for the future. I'm also very happy to work with him and colleagues from both DEFRA and the Environment Agency so that the matters he has raised can be investigated by the correct authorities. As I know the honourable member and my friend will be aware, satellite services can provide another new means of connecting for residents in otherwise hard-to-reach areas. I'm pleased that the rapid advance of low Earth orbit technology for satellites means that the performance of services is also increasing through that measure. As well as satellite services offering home broadband already on the market, Vodafone and O2 have both announced that direct-to-mobile device services will launch and be available to consumers this year. To help operators achieve their ambitious rollout plans, we continue to work closely together with them to identify and remove barriers to deployment where it is practical to do so. This includes implementing the remaining provisions of the Product Security and Telecommunications Infrastructure Act 2022 and launching a call for evidence to see where planning rules can be relaxed to support the deployment of mobile infrastructure. Alongside this work at a national level, we have also provided funding to both the West Midlands and Shropshire as part of our 5G Innovation Regions programme to increase the uptake of 5G services and to drive investment in networks. Now, I know, Madam Deputy Speaker, that we need to do more to ensure investment in high-quality mobile connectivity. That is also why we're undertaking a full mobile market review. We want to better understand the factors impacting investment in widespread high-quality mobile connectivity and what more government can do to support this over the long term. We will soon be publishing a call for evidence to support our assessment and encourage all relevant parties to engage with this process. Can I also encourage all members of the House to be champions of digital infrastructure deployment? It is only in working within their constituencies with both constituents and the local planning authority that we can together champion digital connectivity. Finally, Madam Deputy Speaker, I would like to repeat my thanks to my honourable friend for Telford for securing this debate on such an important topic, and to all members who have intervened and contributed to the debate today. It would, of course, be remiss of me not to end on a note of acceptance of his kind invitation. I will be very happy, either directly or through my honourable friend in the other place, to visit him and to support his hard work for the people of Telford.
Point of order, Mr. Murray?
Madam Deputy Speaker, on a point of order, can I just highlight that I didn't declare my interest as Chair of the Digital Communities APPG, which I should have done. Thank you.
Fantastic, that is now on the record. I was going to just remind the Minister he's more than welcome to come to my constituency, Sussex Ward, to deal with any 5G connectivity. Anyhow, the question is that this House do now adjourn. As many of that opinion say aye? Aye. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Order, order.